Let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. Cottage cheese might not look like much on your plate, but for older adults aiming to preserve or rebuild muscle, it may be one of the most quietly powerful foods available. At first glance, it seems simple, mild in taste, soft in texture, and easily overlooked among flashy protein options. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find that cottage cheese carries a unique set of advantages that make it exceptionally suitable for the needs of seniors dealing with sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass that naturally comes with age. The central reason cottage cheese stands out is its rich content of casein protein. Unlike fast-digesting proteins that quickly spike and fall, casein is absorbed slowly by the body. This slow digestion makes it particularly beneficial for seniors, whose bodies may not process protein as efficiently as they once did. By delivering a steady supply of amino acids over a longer period, cottage cheese helps reduce the breakdown of muscle tissue, especially during long periods without food, like overnight. This prolonged release acts almost like a time-release supplement for muscle protection, giving the aging body a gentle yet constant resource for repair and rebuilding. Additionally, the softness and moisture of cottage cheese make it much easier to consume than tougher cuts of meat or protein bars that require heavy chewing. This matters more than it seems. Dental issues, swallowing difficulties, or changes in appetite can all affect how much protein a senior is realistically able to consume in a day. Cottage cheese sidesteps those problems. It's simple to eat, can be paired with savory or sweet sides, and doesn't require any complicated preparation. That means fewer barriers to actually getting the protein your body needs. But it's not just the protein content that makes cottage cheese valuable. It also contains a respectable amount of calcium, which supports bone strength, critical in a time of life when bone density tends to decline. When you consider the link between muscle and bone health, it becomes even clearer why this matters. The two systems are deeply interconnected. Stronger muscles help protect bones from falls and fractures, and stable bones provide the framework necessary for strength and mobility. So, by choosing cottage cheese, seniors are supporting more than one vital system at once, all in one simple food. Another benefit that shouldn't be overlooked is how versatile cottage cheese is. Some seniors struggle to get enough protein because their diet has become repetitive or unappetizing. Cottage cheese offers a blank canvas for flavor: odd berries and a touch of cinnamon for breakfast. Stir in some herbs and chopped vegetables for a savory snack, or use it as a side dish at dinner. This variety helps keep meals interesting without sacrificing nutrition, and because it's a cold food, there's no pressure to cook perfect for those with limited energy or kitchen access. Even from a metabolic standpoint, cottage cheese pulls its weight. Muscle tissue isn't just about strength, it plays a major role in regulating metabolism, blood sugar, and overall energy balance. As we age, our metabolic rate tends to slow down, and maintaining lean muscle becomes harder. Including proteins like those found in cottage cheese helps fuel muscle preservation, which in turn helps keep metabolism more stable. That can mean better weight control, fewer blood sugar spikes, and more energy throughout the day. It's also worth noting that cottage cheese is affordable and widely available. Many seniors live on fixed incomes or limited grocery access, so practical options matter. Cottage cheese doesn't require special ordering, doesn't spoil quickly, if properly stored, and can be found in just about every grocery store. It's a realistic solution that doesn't require major lifestyle changes. And importantly, this isn't about massive overhauls or forcing down supplements or shakes that feel clinical. It's about small, steady steps that support dignity, independence, and strength. A half cup of cottage cheese might not look like a revolution, but for seniors fighting against the creeping grip of sarcopenia, it's a quiet act of resistance. The power of nutrition after 60 lies in understanding that small, smart decisions build on each other. And while cottage cheese may be one part of that strategy, it lays a strong foundation. But the story doesn't stop here. There are more everyday options that hold potential in this fight for strength, balance, and vitality. Let's turn the page and look deeper. Ask ChatGPT. Let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. Parmesan cheese isn't usually the first food that comes to mind when thinking about building muscle, especially for seniors. It's often grated lightly over pasta or stirred into soups for added flavor. But underneath its sharp taste and crumbly texture lies a surprisingly dense nutritional profile that can make a quiet but serious difference in the battle against age-related muscle loss, what we know as sarcopenia. And when used with purpose, not just as a garnish, Parmesan can do more than enhance flavor. It can support real strength and function after 60. What makes Parmesan different from other cheeses isn't just its strong taste. It's the concentration of nutrients in a small serving. Because Parmesan is an aged cheese with very little water, it's incredibly dense in protein. Just a few tablespoons contain a meaningful amount of high-quality protein, specifically the kind that the body recognizes and uses efficiently to build and maintain muscle tissue. For older adults, whose protein needs are higher due to slower absorption and muscle breakdown, this is no small thing. Protein is essential after age 60, not just for keeping visible muscle tone, but also for supporting balance, mobility, and independence. As muscle mass decreases, so does functional strength. Everything from standing up from a chair to climbing stairs becomes more difficult. That's where Parmesan can offer support, because it's so nutrient-dense. You don't need a large portion to reap its benefits. A sprinkle on steamed vegetables, eggs, or even a baked potato can turn an otherwise modest meal into one that feeds the muscles in a meaningful way. Calcium is another point in Parmesan's favor. While most people associate calcium with bone health, the relationship between bones and muscles is tightly knit. Bones give structure, but muscles move that structure on together. They form the musculoskeletal system. As bone density decreases with age, so does the body's ability to absorb impact or avoid injury from falls. Parmesan contains significantly more calcium per serving than many other cheeses, supporting both bones and the muscles that stabilize them. Parmesan is also low in lactose, which makes it easier to digest for older adults who may be sensitive to dairy. It's not unusual for lactose intolerance to increase with age, which often leads people to avoid dairy altogether and miss out on its benefits. But Parmesan, especially when aged over 12 months, has very little lactose remaining, meaning it can often be enjoyed without discomfort. This allows seniors to keep a valuable, natural source of protein and calcium in their diet without the side effects of bloating or cramping. Another overlooked quality of Parmesan is how easy it is to incorporate into daily meals without having to eat a full cheese plate. You don't need to change your entire diet. Instead, small additions like blending it into scrambled eggs, topping roasted broccoli, or mixing it with whole grain scans subtly enhance both the taste and nutritional profile of your meals. These little changes are sustainable, which is what makes them so powerful. You're not introducing a new supplement or rigid diet rule, you're simply using what already fits into your lifestyle. Parmesan also contains small but helpful amounts of phosphorus and vitamin B12. Phosphorus supports bone mineralization and works alongside calcium to keep bones strong and stable. Vitamin B12 plays a role in nerve health and red blood cell formation, both of which are essential to feeling energized and maintaining coordination as we age. The presence of these nutrients in such a compact food reinforces why Parmesan should be treated not just as a seasoning, but as a strategic ingredient in muscle health. This isn't about turning cheese into a cure-all. It's about recognizing what everyday foods can do when chosen and used with intention. Seniors don't need to overhaul their entire eating pattern to make gains in strength and mobility. They just need a few reliable, nutrient-rich allies that fit their tastes and needs. Parmesan, for all its humble uses, stands as one of those allies. As we explore the foods that quietly support muscle health in older age, Parmesan reminds us that strength can come from places we might not expect. And while it has its place on the table, it's far from the only cheese that can help. There are more options, more strategies for aging with vitality. Let's keep going and uncover the next piece of the puzzle. You said, let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. Let's look closely at how Swiss cheese plays a surprisingly helpful role in supporting muscle health after 60. This isn't about trends or fads, it's about understanding what this specific cheese offers to the aging body in terms of nutrients, how it interacts with muscle function, and why it can be a smart addition to a senior's dietary routine. The goal here is simple: to build and maintain muscle strength as we age, using tools that are accessible, efficient, and evidence-based. Swiss cheese, known for its mild, nutty flavor and signature holes, offers a strong nutritional profile that aligns well with what older adults need. As the body ages, muscle mass naturally begins to decline. This is a process known as sarcopenia. While it's common, it's not inevitable. Certain nutrients help slow it down, and protein is the most central. Swiss cheese contains a good amount of high-quality protein. This is the kind that contains all essential amino acids and is more effectively absorbed and used by the body to rebuild and preserve muscle tissue. Just 1 ounce of Swiss cheese provides around 7 to 8 grams of protein. That might not sound like a lot at first, but when incorporated into meals, consistently layered on whole grain toast, melted into steamed vegetables, or added to an omelette, it becomes a reliable contributor to the daily protein goal. For older adults, reaching 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day is considered ideal to preserve muscle mass. The challenge often isn't knowing this, it's reaching that target in a realistic way. Swiss cheese helps fill in that gap. But it's not just protein that makes Swiss cheese relevant here. It also delivers calcium and phosphorus, both of which are involved in muscle contraction. Calcium, for example, is required for muscles to contract properly. If calcium is too low, muscle weakness or spasms may result. Seniors already face a greater risk of calcium deficiency due to decreased absorption with age. Swiss cheese, being relatively high in calcium compared to other cheeses, offers a way to support this process while also maintaining bone health, another critical part of mobility and fall prevention. Swiss cheese is also a good source of vitamin B12, which supports energy metabolism. While B12 may not be directly related to muscle size, it affects how cells produce energy. Without enough of it, the body can't generate the energy needed to perform physical tasks, which leads to less activity, more muscle loss, and a downward spiral. Older adults are especially vulnerable to B12 deficiency because stomach acid needed to absorb it decreases with age. Eating foods like Swiss cheese can help bridge that nutritional gap in a natural and palatable way. What makes Swiss cheese especially practical is that it tends to be lower in sodium compared to many other cheeses. This matters because excessive sodium intake can lead to high blood pressure, something that many seniors are already monitoring. While some high-protein foods may also come with high sodium levels, Swiss cheese strikes a more balanced note. It delivers the protein and minerals without as much risk of raising blood pressure. That's a subtle but important benefit. Digestibility is another advantage. Swiss cheese is naturally lower in lactose, which means it's generally easier to tolerate for seniors who have developed lactose sensitivity over time. Maintaining a diverse and rich protein intake becomes more difficult when dairy causes discomfort. Swiss cheese often avoids this problem, making it a gentle yet effective addition to the diet. It's easy to overlook cheese as a functional food. People tend to think of it either as a treat or a flavor enhancer, but certain cheeses, like Swiss, do more than just sit on a sandwich. They bring value. They contribute to muscle preservation. They provide the nutrients that aging muscles require to function properly. And they do this without requiring large amounts or dramatic changes to one's diet. A slice here, a few cubes there, adds up. So this is not just about liking cheese. It's about using food wisely, choosing items that not only taste good, but also carry real, measurable benefits to health and independence after 60. And while Swiss cheese plays a strong role, it's not the only dairy option with this kind of potential. There are other foods that bring their own power to the table, foods that, when selected with care, can support a strong, mobile, and confident life in our later years. Let's keep going. There's another cheese ahead that might surprise you even more, you said? Let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. Parmesan cheese may not be the first food that comes to mind when thinking about building or preserving muscle after 60, but its nutritional profile makes it highly relevant. The focus here is not on its flavor or culinary uses, but strictly on what it delivers to the aging body, particularly in the context of fighting sarcopenia, condition marked by the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. The primary value of Parmesan lies in its density of protein and essential nutrients in small portions. A single ounce contains approximately 10 grams of high-quality protein. For seniors working to maintain muscle tissue, this is significant. Every gram of protein becomes valuable as the body's ability to synthesize it into muscle diminishes with age. Unlike some plant-based proteins, Parmesan contains all 9 essential amino acids, which means it can more effectively support muscle repair and growth with less volume of intake. What makes this particularly useful is how concentrated Parmesan is. Because it is aged and low in moisture, its nutrients are tightly packed. This is especially helpful for seniors who may have smaller appetites or struggle with large meals. A few tablespoons grated over vegetables, pasta, or eggs can offer a strong nutritional impact without the need for heavy eating. This ease of incorporation into meals matters. Consistency is key with muscle maintenance, and Parmesan offers a low-effort way to stay consistent. In addition to protein, Parmesan is a rich source of calcium and phosphorus, 2 minerals that work in tandem to support not just bone density, but also muscle contraction. Calcium allows muscles to contract, while phosphorus helps generate the energy needed for that contraction. Deficiencies in either can contribute to weakness or fatigue. For older adults whose calcium absorption naturally declines with age, Parmesan offers a bioavailable form that the body can use more readily. It's also important to address vitamin content. Parmesan contains significant levels of vitamin A and B12. While vitamin A plays a role in immune health and cell regeneration, B12 is essential for energy metabolism and neurological function. These elements become increasingly important as aging bodies face the dual challenge of maintaining physical activity and cognitive clarity. Muscle health is never isolated from the rest of the body's systems. Energy, balance, coordination, all these are interlinked. Parmesan delivers nutrients that support this broader picture. Another underrated characteristic of Parmesan is its low lactose content. Because of its long aging process, most of the lactose is broken down, making it one of the most digestible cheeses for those with lactose intolerance. Many seniors reduce or eliminate dairy due to digestive discomfort, but doing so can create unintended nutritional gaps. Parmesan avoids that problem by being both tolerable and nutritionally rich. Seniors can gain its benefits without experiencing the bloating or cramping that might come from other dairy products. Salt content is often a concern with cheese, and Parmesan is naturally higher in sodium. This needs to be acknowledged. However, because such small amounts deliver a large impact, it's possible to control sodium intake while still getting the benefits. The key lies in moderation, using it thoughtfully and sparingly to enhance nutrition without overdoing it. In this context, Parmesan can be a tool rather than a threat, especially when balanced within an overall healthy diet. Let's not confuse Parmesan's versatility with being a background player. It's a high-impact food in a compact form. For someone over 60, trying to build or at least slow the loss of muscle tissue, every dietary choice either moves the needle forward or backward. Parmesan moves it forward. Not because it's trendy or exotic, but because it delivers on what older muscles need: protein, minerals, digestibility, and convenience. And the convenience factor really can't be overstated. Seniors aren't looking for complicated solutions. They want something that fits their routines, their taste preferences, and their nutritional needs without a dramatic overhaul. Parmesan answers that need efficiently. It doesn't require cooking, it doesn't take effort to eat, and it's easily stored. These practical details matter when designing a long-term approach to aging well. We've now seen how two different cheeses, Swiss and Parmesan, can play significant roles in fighting muscle decline. But there's still one more to explore, one that offers a completely different advantage not yet discussed. And if you're someone who prefers softer textures, or needs a gentler option with the same kind of power, what's coming next might be exactly what you've been waiting for. Ask ChatGPT. Let's talk strictly about the topic. Only discuss what it means, no unnecessary points. The key discussion should stay focused on the subject, and in such a way that it leaves me eager for the next page. Cottage cheese is often overlooked, but when it comes to supporting muscle health after age 60, it may be one of the most practical and effective tools available. The focus here is not on how it's used in recipes or whether it tastes good, but what it does physiologically. In a senior body that is navigating the steady challenge of sarcopenia, this condition, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength with age, isn't just about looking fit. It affects mobility, balance, independence, and the ability to recover from even small injuries. What makes cottage cheese so unique is its high content of casein protein. Unlike whey, which is quickly absorbed, casein digests slowly. That means the body receives a steady supply of amino acids over a longer period, often several hours, for older adults. This slow release is critical. As we age, the body becomes less efficient at synthesizing protein into muscle. A fast-digesting protein can spike and fade too quickly. A slower, sustained protein gives aging muscle cells more time to absorb what they need. It creates a kind of nutritional support that continues even after the meal ends. A single cup of low-fat cottage cheese can provide around 25 grams of protein, an excellent dose for any one meal. That alone is valuable, but it becomes even more useful when eaten before bedtime. Why? Because during sleep, the body enters a natural fasted state and muscle breakdown can accelerate without available amino acids. Consuming cottage cheese as an evening snack provides those amino acids throughout the night, directly addressing the catabolic state and offering protection against overnight muscle loss. Another advantage is its calcium content. A cup of cottage cheese contains over 100 milligrams of calcium, depending on the variety. Calcium isn't just about bones, it plays a vital role in muscle contraction. Without enough calcium, muscles can't contract efficiently, which leads to weakness, cramps, or slower recovery from movement. For seniors whose calcium needs are already elevated, cottage cheese serves a dual purpose, preserving both muscle and bone. Cottage cheese is also rich in selenium, a mineral with antioxidant properties. While it's not the primary focus in muscle health, selenium supports immune function and helps prevent cellular damage, both of which become increasingly important with age. Muscle growth and recovery happen best in a body that isn't inflamed or under oxidative stress, and selenium contributes quietly but significantly in that process. Let's also touch on its digestibility. While many dairy products can cause digestive distress in older adults, especially due to lactose intolerance, many cottage cheese brands offer lactose-free options. Even traditional cottage cheese tends to be easier to digest than whole milk or cream-based dairy. This makes it accessible to more seniors who otherwise might avoid dairy altogether and miss out on these benefits. Cottage cheese is versatile in its serving options, but again, we aren't focusing on taste or preference. What matters is how easy it is to incorporate consistently. It doesn't require cooking. It doesn't spoil quickly. It doesn't have to be measured or portioned in complicated ways. Spoon it into a bowl and eat. That's it. For seniors managing fatigue, joint pain, or limited kitchen access, this matters deeply. The fewer steps it takes to access solid nutrition, the more likely it is to become a habitant, a helpful one at that. Sodium content is something to be aware of. Some brands can be high in salt, But low-sodium versions exist, and they retain the core benefits. This is where being selective with brands can make a big difference. It's not about giving up a food, it's about choosing the right kind. Beyond the science, there's an emotional layer to consider. Aging can feel like a slow process of giving things up: mobility, independence, routines. But foods like cottage cheese shift that mindset. They don't ask you to overhaul your diet. They don't force you to eat like a bodybuilder. They quietly support what your body needs, in the background, every day. That quiet consistency is what matters most for long-term strength. We've now looked at 3 very different cheeses, offering a powerful tool for defending against muscle loss. The story isn't just about dairy though, because what comes next moves beyond cheese into a broader category of strength-boosting foods that are easy to find, easy to eat, and surprisingly effective. And if you're thinking your muscle potential is already behind you, the next step may change your mind. Ask ChatGPT.